Okay, it's time to cut. What? That's right. That's right.
Hey, what it do? So let's talk about Mustafa Ali and his new feud against Kofi Kingston, which is actually a long time coming. WWE really kills me about taking forever to get to things that naturally make sense. So Mustafa Ali has sicked Retribution on Xavier Woods 2 weeks in a row. His reasoning is he wants to make Kofi Kingston suffer. Kofi Kingston's jaw is broken, and he's posting pictures of him eating paste, like brown paste and green paste, because he can't chew. So he's been gone for like 2 or 3 weeks now. So Mustafa Ali cuts this promo where he basically talks about he hopes Kofi's broken jaw will keep him out of the Royal Rumble, keep him away from the Elimination Chamber, and will keep him out of WrestleMania, because he wants Kofi to feel what he felt when he was sitting at home and missed WrestleMania and missed his opportunity. He wants to, break Kofi's heart, like his jaw is broken. He wants to break his spirit, and he's going to break it through beating the hell out of Xavier Woods. He's going to beat up Xavier Woods until Kofi Kingston returns. So, okay, fine. For those of you who don't know, maybe you've been living under a rock or something like that. Mustafa Ali was slated to face Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 20. Oh, not WrestleMania 20, WrestleMania 35. And but he got injured, and because he got injured, Kofi took his spot. So it all began at around the Elimination Chamber. Mustafa Ali was supposed to be in that match, and then Ali couldn't work. He couldn't return. They gave it to Kofi. Kofi got a huge reaction in the gauntlet. It was something completely unforeseen. Kofi Mania was running wild, dog. And then when Mustafa Ali did finally come back, I think it wasn't that long. He just missed the Elimination Chamber. I think he was back for Fastlane, if I remember correctly. He didn't do anything. He didn't get his spot back. So he just kind of got bumped. And for the next several months, Mustafa Ali didn't do anything. He seemingly lost his place. He became lost in the woods. He was a guy that Daniel Bryan was personally pushing and was putting him over. I think he did a clean job to him on SmackDown once. So Mustafa Ali had a promising future, and then he got hurt. Now, he was injured in a match with Randy Orton, if I remember correctly. But the feud with Randy Orton didn't actually happen until very, very late 2018. Or was that 2019? 2019. It didn't really happen until, October? Or something like that. So they waited several months before they even, put out in a position to get any revenge on Randy Orton. And then even when he did wrestle Randy Orton, he lost. So, they really didn't have anything for him. But they're finally, he's finally a heel, and him and Kofi Kingston are on the same brand. And now, after years and months of him saying, oh, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, I'm so glad. I'm so proud of Kofi. This is so awesome. Now we get, Mustafa Ali is bitter about losing his spot, which is, of course, fine. Because if you're a heel, or you've been a heel for a long time, and one of your gimmicks is that, you're being held down, you're never given any opportunities, and you had was taken away from you. Him blaming Kofi doesn't make any sense, but he's a villain. So villains don't need to have appropriate motivations. Sometimes villains blame the heroes for things that had nothing to do with them. And in this situation, Kofi didn't have anything to do with Mustafa Ali being injured. He just took his spot and didn't give it back. So it's like a thing where it's envy, right? So envy is one of the most mortal of sins. It's the cardinal sin. He and so many fans, and a lot of fans feed into this, think that Kofi Kingston's title run should have been Mustafa Ali's title run. That he should have been the champion. He should have been the top guy. And that, so now we're finally going to get there. And it took over a year before we get to this point, but we finally did get there. So that's cool. And so they worked the match, and Mustafa Ali and all of Retribution, minus Reckoning, who wasn't there, confront Xavier Woods. And Xavier Woods sucker punch Mustafa Ali, knocked him down. He wrestles the match with Mace. he's kind of giving Mace the fits a little bit, you know. And I love Xavier Woods, by the way. Xavier Woods, to me, is the reason why the New Day works. Like, all of the guys are good. They all can cut promos. They can all talk. They can all entertain. They're all funny. I'm not into the whole twerking aspect of it and the pancake throwing and stuff like that. I'm not into, I wasn't into the unicorn stuff. But there's no doubt about their entertainment value. And the reason why it works so well is because of Xavier Woods. Usually it's the guy that people think is the most useless one is the one that actually drives the ship. Like some people don't give Tully Blanchard enough credit for what he was able to do with the Horsemen. I was just talking to, one of my subscribers about Kevin Von Erich. Like Kevin Von Erich played a central role in the success of the Von Erichs. He's the older brother. He was able to keep the younger ones in kind of in check. He's actually very involved with their training and all that kind of thing, setting a good example for them. And Tully Blanchard was the little shit that everybody was wooing with Ric Flair and thought he was cool. Tully didn't have anything cool about him. He was the small, what they called him in the documentary. They called him like the blasting cap. He was the guy that everybody hated. He's the guy that everybody wanted to see get beaten up. And even though Flair was the champion, and yeah, you played to see Flair get beat up too, Tully was the one who was not cool, that you couldn't find any redeeming quality in. So he was the one you really wanted to see get beaten up. And it was the same thing with Buddy Roberts, the Fabulous Freebirds, and I think Xavier Woods is the same thing. Xavier Woods is not only because the New Day was his idea, not just because he went to the office and pitched the idea to make the New Day happen, or took the initiative to start doing the trombone stuff and doing the colors and all that stuff. Not even that. It's just that he's fucking good. Like, he's just really good. And he was really good at being annoying. And now he's really good at being a babyface. I think we should be pushing Xavier Woods as a solo star. Right along with Big E. Big E is getting his opportunity on SmackDown. That's fine. Kofi got his title run. That was fine too. That also happened a lot because of Xavier Woods and Big E throwing their weight behind it. Xavier Woods also needs this run. And I do believe that, maybe the whole New Day thing is kind of run its course, and they're really, really holding on tight to this, this dying. They don't want to kill it. They don't want to kill New Day. I'm pretty sure they might still be selling t-shirts and stuff like that, but New Day needs to change, and I think that Xavier Woods can be the reason it changes, because it was his idea in the first place. But I think now that they franchised it, now they have a podcast and everything, it's going to be damn near impossible to change it. But I really enjoy Xavier Woods, and I think that I think he's short, but a lot of these guys are short now. I think that he can. I don't know how far he can go. I think he could be a solid U.S. champ, solid Intercontinental champion. Routine in that position. But he definitely deserves a good solo run, because he worked the hell out of this match, man. He did a good job. He always does a good job when he wrestles, solo, But the story in the match was that he's kind of giving Mace the fits. He was getting on Ali's nerve. So the rest of Retribution had to surround the ring, and the rest of Retribution kind of distracted him. And Mace botched his finish. It was ugly, but it was safe. He dropped him. That's probably going to get Retribution buried. But it looked like whatever Mace was trying to do, he botched it. He botched it something terrible. And he still got the win. Didn't matter. So Mustafa Ali, after the match, says, they kind of do the camera, interesting thing with the camera, where the camera is looking up at them as if, Xavier Woods has the camera. So they're leaning down and they're like, tell Kofi, get well soon. So we got something interesting here with Mustafa Ali, a storyline that actually he can sink his teeth into. And it's a storyline that we can, that can lead to some banter. Some back and forth. Now Kofi can't talk right now, so it's gonna have to be Xavier Woods. But Xavier Woods is more than capable of handling the promos. Every member of the New Day can talk, so you don't have an issue. You're not missing something because Kofi can't talk. You could just have Xavier Woods say whatever Kofi would say, which is basically is not his fault. That's essentially what Kofi would say is it's not my fault. Like it sucks that that you got injured, and we wished you the best of luck, and we wanted you to to get a shot and everything, but it just didn't happen. But I'm interested in this. This is something Mustafa Ali could probably feel very strongly about, and it also kind of flies in the face of a lot of people who thought Mustafa Ali was going to get buried because he talked about Hulk Hogan in his Raw Talk promo. Look, I just knew that wasn't going to be the case. I knew he wasn't going to get buried for it. I mean, they had been burying Hulk Hogan all this time for years anyway. Like this new generation of fans don't like Hulk Hogan. I mean, and these new generation of guys, they don't like Hulk Hogan. It's not a surprise. And, so it wasn't that big of a deal as far as I'm concerned. I didn't think there was going to be any political heat on him. Plus, he probably has more defenders in the back than detractors. If anything, people just want to say, well, he's not in a high enough position for anybody really to care. But this is a storyline where Mustafa Ali does get to work with his friends, kind of like he got to work with Ricochet. So he gets to work with his friends. His friends are going to try to help him get over. And that's fine. I'm 100% okay with that. The New Day, like Mustafa Ali, they're going to do their best to get him over. Retribution does need something. They haven't. I mean, the Ricochet feud was fine, but it's now seemingly over for no fucking reason, which leads to the idea of, why didn't Ricochet come down and help Xavier Woods? Like that's a big logic error right there. Like Ricochet had been fighting the Retribution for weeks by himself with no help. He should see, Xavier Woods struggling, fighting off Retribution by himself. Kofi Kingston's not there. He should just, come down to ringside and take his side, not, join the New Day or anything stupid like that, but just be there to make sure that, Xavier Woods isn't fighting this battle by himself. That, it adds so many different layers to the story. Because now, Ricochet is also one of these guys who, has missed the boat, who isn't, like Mustafa Ali said, when it actually made a little bit of sense that Ricochet is being misused and mishandled, and he's not being given the opportunities that everybody thinks he should have. He's a perfect member of Retribution in that regard. But, WWE just sectioning off people and not treating them like they exist in one universe, it seems pretty silly to me that we couldn't tie that together. Like we couldn't just, I don't see how that feud ended without a proper blow-off match. Like it didn't end with Ricochet beating Mustafa Ali clean in the middle of the ring or in a cage match or in a last man standing match or anything like that. It just kind of faded away. So to me, it felt natural that Mustafa Ali maybe wants to move on because now he sees this opportunity to get back at the New Day for screwing him and, taking his opportunity and then not giving him anything in return. But then for Ricochet to say, no, I'm not going to let you get away with this. You bullied me and nobody came to my aid. I'm not going to take it personally, but I'm just going to stop it from happening to somebody else. And it seems like WWE just will not allow. They have cut the balls off of the baby faces, which is really weird because they cut the balls off the heels too. And it's only really on Raw. Like SmackDown is fine. NXT mostly fine. But Raw, my God, there's no heroes, there's no villains. The villains are, well, I'm not going to get into it, but that's a different video. But this is a prime opportunity to make Ricochet, seem like a really good guy. And to elevate Xavier Woods and Ricochet and Mustafa Ali and Retribution all at one time by, upping the ante. But WWE just seems to be like, okay, well, your feud is over. You go over here, you go over there. And now it's like you two never cross paths ever again. You don't even talk about each other anymore. That's real strange to me. I always hated that. It's like watching a play and then the curtain goes down and then the next scene doesn't have anything to do with the previous scene. They're not building on the stories. You know what I'm saying? But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Spread the good word of 3 Count commentaries. Like this video. Send some money via Cash App if you can. I would always appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I thank you for that too. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Da 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 da.